Hey there subscribers, today I'm going to teach you how to patch a hole in drywall or sheetrock. The last video I posted was how to install recessed lighting, and during the process I had to take out some track lighting and then also a ceiling fan and leaving these holes here. So I know that a common thing that people come across is having to patch holes in their walls, so I'm going to show you how to do that easily here. Now initially what you might think is, just cut a piece of drywall out that fits and try to put it in here and maybe load it up with joint compound or spackle, but we definitely need something behind here to support it. So what we're going to do is cut out a piece of plywood that you can get in here, and basically the concept is we're going to put the plywood inside the other side of the wall, and then we're going to put a screw through the drywall on both sides through the plywood, basically making it a solid foundation for the new piece of drywall that we're going to put over this hole. Now the first thing that I did after cutting the piece out was I installed a little screw here. And really all that's going to be for me is a handle, so I can hold on to that, pull it downward while I'm screwing the screws through the drywall and into the sides of the plywood. We're going to remove the screw later. Okay. Now we're going to remove the screw in the center. Okay, so we cut out a piece of drywall, and really all I did was trace it on a piece of paper and then transpose that onto a larger piece of drywall. I actually saved the circles that I used to cut out for the recessed lighting. And this piece will fit right in here. And then what we'll do is we'll put some screws through. So now I'm going to feel right around here. Anything that seems like it's slightly raised a little bit, I want to just slice it off with a knife. I don't want anything sticking down, which will make it uneven when we spackle over it. So I feel a little bit here. I want that out. Okay. Any jagged pieces, just get rid of it now. And of course we got to make sure that the screws were sunken. So now that we have this all in and solid and screwed in and trimmed, we want to put a light coating of spackle in here before we put our tape over it. We're just going to need 2 pieces here. Now we're going to go over here and put our first coat on. It's important not to try to make it look perfect the first time out, because you'll just end up ruining it. feather it out. Okay, we're going to let that dry, do some very light sanding, and then come back with another coat. The first coat is dried. You can see that some of the tape is coming through a little bit, and we've got a couple little streaks that we want to knock down very lightly by sanding. And then once we do that, we're going to go back over with another coat and extend the area, make it a larger area that we're going to spackle over and feather it out. We're not sanding over the taped area because we do not want to expose the tape itself, the fibers. So before we give it the third and final coat, I want to sand it one last time. There's not a lot of sanding that's needed. So this abrasive sponge I wet this time because I'd rather catch the dust right on here because it's wet rather than having it fall. So these things are great for sanding your joint compound or spackle, especially when you wet it. That's what we're going to do now. So now we're on our third and final coat. You can see here it's looking pretty good. I really don't have to do very much here, but I'm going to. And this is where the track lighting was, and then there's a little spot over here that I need to take care of right there where the ceiling fan is, but for the most part it's all it's looking pretty good. So just a very light coat here for the third and final one. Sand, maybe just a wet sand with a sponge, and all done. We are done now with the final coat of spackle. We've sanded, and I've got at least one coat now of the primer on. You can see where there's this shiny area, that's where the primer is, and where it's not shiny, that's the original ceiling paint. So regarding primer and paint, I would definitely recommend using a roller going over the finished spackle, because what you want is the same texture of the paint on the finished spackled area as you have on the existing ceiling or wall that you've patched. If you use a brush or something else, it's going to definitely stand out, and you don't want that. You want to have the same texture. I would actually prime twice to make sure that you're fully covering that spackled area and you're establishing a painted base that looks the same as the original ceiling or wall that you had before the patch. And then go with at least 2 coats of wall or ceiling paint after that. I hope this helped you. Please hit that subscribe and bell notification button if you like the video. I've got a lot more. I've got a video on how to install these recessed ceiling lights that we did not too long ago, and quite a bit more. Thanks again for watching, everyone. Have a great day. GoPro, stop recording.